evening, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the Nerd Variety Podcast. I am Hannah. I am here today with Hayden.
Hey.
And Josh.
Hi. What's
I'm
up?
sure... Oh, Hayden's apparently dying.
Uh-oh.
I'm fine.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay. We'll have plenty of time to talk about death later.
Death and the plague.
Yeah. Well, not plagues. But
Okay.
today, we're going to be talking about a show that... It's kind of funny that we're all into it now, because basically the timeline of us getting into the show was that I was at a bookstore with Beck, my younger sibling, and we were looking for new manga to read, and a complete stranger recommended to us The Promised Neverland. We bought the first volume and have been hooked ever since. And then it came out as an anime in 2016, I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Was it that long ago?
2016. Yeah, the first episode was released. Maybe that's the manga was released in 2016. The anime is more recent. Excuse me.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
You're
but
not
then,
excused.
sorry. But then
You're
I
excused.
talked about it with you guys and have got both of you hooked, and now we're all completely caught up. We have watched all of the episodes we could find on the internet.
Yes. Which is... Was it 10 in the first season?
I think it's 12 episodes in season 1, and then
Seven
7
so
so far in season 2.
Well, 6.
Well-
there's a refresher
gonna-
episode in season 2.
Well, that's 5.5. So
Yeah,
if you wanted to count that, there would technically be 8 in season 2.
I didn't watch it. I skipped through it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
I
like,
started to.
Summary, yeah.
I started to, but I'm like, yeah, okay. Literally, all of this is recap.
Yeah. It was
so
just
it's
a summary. Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway,
Especially
today
if
we're
we-
gonna- yeah.
Josh,
Today we're gonna be-
I was just saying, especially if you binge watched it like we did. You don't
yeah,
need
that's
it.
true. That's true. Yeah, I suppose if it had been a while since any of the episodes had come out, then you'd want a synopsis. But we knew what was happening.
Yep.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about The Promised Neverland. We're all very excited about it. As we're all caught up, we do need to give a quick spoiler warning if you're ever planning on watching this show.
which we recommend.
We recommend you do.
Yeah.
You
Watch
might
it.
not
It's great.
want to listen because we're going to talk about things that we didn't expect that happened and our predictions for what we think is going to happen next and stuff like that. So,
And I mean, I'm usually against telling people explicitly don't listen to our show, but
go
I mean-
watch The Promised Neverland.
and
Mhm.
then
And then
watch
come
this,
back.
or
Yeah.
listen.
You do that.
Yeah.
Do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay, so
So that's the amount of time it takes to learn that Ray is gonna betray them.
Ray betrays all sorts of people. It's complicated. But so I want to start off
Turncoat.
pretty much. Want to start off with a quick synopsis of The Promised Neverland. I'm basically just going to explain episode 1. So in episode 1, you meet Norman and Ray and Emma and all of their siblings, but they're not really siblings because they're all orphans who are living at an orphanage. And they seem pretty happy.
Aw.
Yeah, they seem pretty
Yeah.
happy. But then
very happy.
one of them has to leave because they get quote unquote adopted. And Emma realizes they left that the child who left their rabbit, so they take them and realize that they're not getting adopted, they're getting murdered and eaten by demons.
What?
And that's episode 1.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Hannah, because I remember watching the first episode and it's like this is sweet, it's kind of cutesy, very
It's not sweet.
happy-go-lucky, and then you go into the
Munch,
the-
munch, munch, munch,
what's that place called? The
gate,
transit area.
yeah.
The gate. Oh yeah, the gate. And then they open the car and they see her and it's like, oh my
Yep,
god.
they see their little sister's dead body with a beautiful red flower blooming out of it.
Just-
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then the demons immediately after that.
Yep.
Which it took them like till season 2 to explain the flower, didn't it? Or did they
Yeah, well,
explain it
'cause-
all in season 1?
No, they explain it in season
They
2
don't.
because basically the rest of season 1 is them planning to escape the farm, and then they escape at the end of season 2, and then season 2 is them kind of being out in the world, or they escape at the beginning of season 2 or the end of season 1. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's your quick synopsis. So what were your guys' first impressions? So obviously, Josh, the first impression is like, oh, this is cute, it's family, and then
Oh my gosh,
There's
what?
There's something going on here. I know there's gonna be some a twist here, but it's like this is I don't know. It's like this is all right. I mean, not my
mhm.
typical first choice, but this is how a lot of them start.
Mhm.
And I got a lot of vibes of like, as someone who's watched Walking Dead and Attack on Titan, I kind of got a lot of similar vibes with this show, and how it's kind of turned into the protagonist, or the good party of people are having to figure out, plan, and kind of work around their situation. It's a lot of survival drama. And I'm always asking myself, are they going to make it out? Are they going to be able to outsmart, mom or whoever, the demons? Are we going to lose somebody? Which I feel like we were bound to lose someone, just just like that, with some situations.
Who was the other one?
I enjoy seeing the kids, work their way out of situations that they get into.
Yeah. What's up, Hayden?
I'm sorry. What was the other one's name? Who came in to assist Mother?
Sister Crone?
Yeah.
Was it Crone?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think one of my things that I appreciate about the most, first of all, in that first episode, what I love is that the whole thing does seem like really cute and fun and sweet. There is like a little bit of a vibe that something's weird. But then when Norman and Emma first discover Connie's body, like it's almost like the animation style shifts a little bit. Like they start using weird angles and like zooming in on people's face, and they're like, and you're like, it's just a very sudden shift.
Horror.
So what I like about it, is they have that horror aspect, and then I also appreciate that the whole thing feels kind of like a chess game with the kids and with mom, and that they're trying to outwit each other and stay one step ahead of the other. And Norman especially is like thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then mom's gonna do that, and then Ray's gonna do this, and how are we gonna respond to all of this, and just like thinking 5 or 6 steps ahead. And it's just
10 steps ahead of everybody.
Which is a really cool aspect of it, where like I can't keep up with those kids mentally, so I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Those kids would have like took over the house if I was in charge.
Yeah. And specifically, I did mention this in the synopsis. The kids are super, super smart because they've been raised and like tested and educated, because the brain's the tastiest part of the human, so they gotta have good brains. So they actually like are really, really smart.
Yeah.
So Hayden, what was your first impression?
Well, you guys had kind of told me before, or you had mentioned before I started it, that it was obviously there was something sketchy going on, which I figured that was going to be the case anyways, because there has to be a conflict, right? So of course.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you know me, I'm still somewhat of a newbie to anime and all that.
Which I'm
maybe
so
a little more
but...
than like the average person who doesn't watch any, or more than the person who just watches Dragon Ball or something, but not much more than that. So something like this really was interesting to me, and it caught me off guard a little bit because of just how because in a lot of anime you get a lot of action. Like there's usually a lot of like fighting of some kind. Here, like there gets to be some of that, but it's really more of like a mystery, like a thriller thing. And there's a lot of talking, and you really have to pay attention to kind of figure out, like piece together what's happening. And it's interesting. I was really kind of drawn in just by how deep it is.
Yeah. And by deep, do you mean like in the same way I was talking about, where like everyone's trying to think 6 steps ahetd, and there's just a lot of like mental stuff going on?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Because I wouldn't say it's like
you can feel the tension between the characters.
Because I wouldn't say deep in terms of like it deals with hard-hitting issues, because they're fake issues, right? They're not real issues.
They do bring in some that are I would consider it like just just below the skin deep.
Well, yeah, especially now. So now we're in season 2, right? And right now, what's going on is Norman wants to destroy all of the demons, right, to make their utopia, basically, right, and to get rid of all the demons forever, right? And Emma is saying they've been spending some time in this demon town, right? And she's seen elderly demons and child demons, and she's like dealing with this morality of like, yeah, they want to eat us, but like some of them are kids.
Yeah, and
like are we really gonna kill all of them?
And like they're doing this
kind of like people
to survive. Like they don't know it again. And they even bring up, the point in this most recent episode. It's like, well, like Yui, I don't remember what exactly they used as an example. It was some animal, and it's like, well, you eat this thing, and like, what if it tried to explain to you it didn't want you to eat it? Like, would you let yourself and let your family go hungry just because like this little animal said it doesn't want to be eaten?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that being said to Emma, my thought was, I believe she would totally not eat that animal.
I believe that she wouldn't, but I don't believe she would force her siblings to starve.
Yeah.
Right.
If I don't know, it's complicated.
Yeah. It was. You kind of see that kind of conversation or that idea brought up in the opening sequence because of how they parallel like the humans eating the rabbit at their dinner table and saying grace, and then the demons doing the same thing with human pieces and saying their quote unquote grace. And I like how they're doing a lot of parallels between like human society and demon society, especially since I think we kind of like, I guess humans kind of gave demons society and culture and reasoning, which is weird to think about.
Yeah, because the demons are only sort of sentient, intelligent beings because they eat human flesh, right? Is kind of the idea behind it, right? So if you take away that supply, they basically turn back into monsters.
Yeah,
which is a really interesting aspect of it as well.
Yeah, and that's another thing where I kind of want to go to a whole, I guess, sci-fi place. Like, can you, like, how ethical is it to give something or someone? I guess it's more kind of like a something like sentience, and then
strip it away,
take it away from them. Yeah,
it
like,
actually
that's the whole thought behind like AI and all that too.
Yeah, well, it actually reminds me of a play that I was in called Flowers for Algernon. It's about a guy who, I don't remember what it is exactly. He has some sort of mental disability, and he eventually takes like a drug or something. I don't remember exactly, but he's able to overcome his mental disability, but then it comes back, and he learns about like people are not nice to him. They were like really mean to him, and they're like, it's not as extreme as having your humanity stripped away, but it's a similar sort of concept of being like like that's a horrible thing to do to somebody.
Right. Give them something that makes them, that helps them be part of society, and then when people can't see them as like same, like equal members of society, and they treat them badly, and then that person's like, no, I want that, I want to be part of the society again. That's not
right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and it almost begs the question, like, would it have been better to just leave things alone in the first place, right? Because the knowledge of what's been done to you is kind of the worst part.
Right.
Yeah.
It's again, and it's I can't remember, I'm gonna stumble through this as I do everything, but I can't remember exactly where the quote is from, where I remember it from. It's probably multiple places, but and I can't remember it specifically too exactly, but the general thing is like, well, so if you want to punish someone or hurt someone, you can't just like not give them something or withhold something. Like you have to really get them, you have to show them what it is and get them to love something and to know what it is to be with it, and then take it away from them to know what it means to be without it. Because if you just never give them something, they're not gonna know.
Right. Yeah. I see there's a lot of I've seen parallels between demons and humans a lot. And Norman and Emma had that conversation, I think in episode 7 or 6, when they're
I
having
don't
their
remember
debate.
any of this too precisely, except like the
Yeah.
most recent one.
Yeah, they were talking about, can they coexist? Can there be peace between them? But
Right.
after everything that's been done to like humans by the demons, there's there's a lot of uncertainty there, and we've also seen that willingness to screw other members of their own kind, like humans are allowing other humans to be, food for demons, and the demons are willing to keep are kind of hoarding, hoarding their food from other demons, and so
Right.
some demon culture is some of the demons members of society are losing out on that.
Right, because they mentioned that there's a way that the demons could not have to eat humans and still retain their intelligence, but that basically the royalty of demon society took that away so that they can continue to control the outflow of food.
Yeah.
Which is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Very messed up.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think it's also important to mention that Emma makes it very clear that she doesn't like the demons.
Right.
But she still is unable to accept just murdering all of them.
Right.
Which I think is important.
Or letting them devolve into monsters again.
Right.
Yeah. But she even says, and I'm sorry if I missed that you just said this or not, but she says, like, because then, or I don't know if she says it specifically, I think it's just a conversation they have where it's like, because if we just let them devolve or something, or if we take away their food source, then they're gonna start turning on each other, and they're just gonna it's worse than just killing them. Like, really.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I'm gonna adjust the conversation a little bit, and I want to know a little bit about your favorite characters. We know that Hayden loves Emma and identifies with her. Right. But Josh, do you have a favorite character, and why?
I don't really have a favorite character. But I do enjoy like the main characters and how they all kind of play off each other. They're you had the three, Norman, Ray, and Emma, and how their relationship, their antagonistic relationship with Mom. Once they all figured out that, once she found out they knew and they knew that she knew, and just seeing them, play their, quote, their chess game with each other. And then seeing Mom, I think I enjoy trying to figure Mom out, because she seems like, she cares, but she's also very devoted to her duty as the caretaker of
the only thing
farm.
that I can think of that like helps me understand her a little bit more is, and obviously it's very different, but the way that I feel about my cat. Which is that, like, she's gonna die way before I am, right? And of course that's gonna be sad, but my mentality about it is like, she was a stray and I'm just trying to give her the best life that I can.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like Mom kind of possibly comes from the same angle. Like, at some point, these kids, like, they're on the farm, they're gonna get eaten. Like, I just want to give them the best existence that I can while they're here. So I feel like she feels kind of helpless in it, but still wants them to enjoy the life that they have.
Yeah, she takes solace in that she gave them the best life that she
right.
could.
At least that's my perspective on it.
Peace and happiness.
Right.
Yeah. I do like what they're doing with Norman. It's at least, it piques my interest, because he has this whole tone shift of just being the kind-hearted but really smart kid or a member of the group, and trying to do everything he can to keep everybody safe and keep really giving Mom for her money. And then he comes back, which I didn't think he died, but then hearing about that he went through some crap with other kids.
They were basically turning into test subjects.
Right. They just did horrible crap to them, and now he's become like what's the word? He's become
Jaded,
hostile,
vengeful.
Vengeful, yes, that's right. And now he's just this cold, calculating mastermind, and it's gonna be interesting to see how things go, especially with his little, little cough he had.
Yeah.
You know, I did want to say about him, like, you know, Ray he was tricky for a bit, but like the sketchiest person is probably Norman because of how smart he is and how he's even since the beginning, you know, he's been like the trickster basically. Like, he's too smart for his own good, for anyone's own good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I feel like that sometimes separates him from his emotions, right? And that's what you said, he's kind of cold and calculated. And I generally view the three as a scale where Emma is the most compassionate and the least smart, but still incredibly smart. And Ray's kind of in the middle, and then Norman's really, really calculating. But I think it's cool that, like, on the surface, Emma and Norman both have valid points about killing all the demons, right? So Emma's point is, like, if there's a chance we can live happily and everyone can live happily, then that's what we should fight for. Where Norman's is, yeah, there's a chance, but I got to look out for me and my group first and foremost, and this is the only positive way that this is going to happen. Like, the only for sure way is to kill them. And so it's interesting that they both have valid points.
Yeah.
But,
So, Hannah, we didn't get to you yet. Who is your favorite character?
Who is your favorite?
I feel like my favorite character is Ray.
Ray?
Yeah. Well, I just like him because he's very interesting. He to me has been the most fascinating character in terms of, like, even at the beginning, he was keeping so many secrets, right?
Yeah.
And was, like, so determined to thwart the efforts of Mom and the demons that he was literally trying to kill himself, right? And
that scene was rough.
Set the whole thing on the whole orphanage on fire while he was there. Like, he's just very intense, and I feel like feels very strongly about things, but keeps it all under wraps. But since then has just become, like, undyingly loyal to Emma, but still sort of her voice of reason. And in comparison to her is kind of cold and calculating. But in comparison, Norman is kind of a softie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I feel Ray was on, like, the opposite end. I think things switched up. Yeah. Emma was at the most compassionate, kind-hearted, Norman was in the middle, and Ray was at the end, and now it's Ray and Norman to switch places.
Right.
Now.
So I feel like just by the fact that he's kind of in the middle of the spectrum there, he is kind of the least predictable, right? Where, like, Norman, you know that he's going to take the logically most successful path, and Emma's going to take what is the most successful path based on her empathy and compassion. Yeah. And Ray is kind of a wild card in the middle, where he kind of
chaotic good, maybe.
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah, he's gone from a chaotic neutral to chaotic good.
And honestly, I just like his, like, sass.
Yeah. It's good. It's
just
good
doesn't put up with anybody. He's just like, y'all.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Y'all are all dumb.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I gotta ask, how obvious was it to you? And Hannah, I assume you read the manga before you saw any of the anime.
Manga.
Sounds like
yes.
Manga, whatever. I don't know. We're not getting pedantic nerds. Manga, I know.
It's manga.
Yeah. Okay. Anime. Is it anime? Okay. No. How obvious was it to you your first time through that Ray was the traitor and that he was kind of...
I don't think I expected it at all. Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things where I feel like they did it really well in terms of, like, I wasn't expecting it, but when it turned out to be that way, I was like, okay, like the the
like you weren't
knowledge
surprised.
right, the knowledge that he was the traitor kind of put the pieces together. And can you really quick for any listeners we might have explain what you mean by Ray was the traitor?
Well, I mean, if people are listening, they've seen the show by now, right? Hopefully. Maybe not. I guess that's a fair point.
Just to clarify.
So, there was we knew at one point in the first season that someone was giving information because they were trying to escape and all that. Someone was giving information about their escape to Mom, and she was kind of catching them with certain things. So Norman had at one point set like it was like rope or something they were going to use, and they were trying to see if they could trust these other two kids that were trying to figure out what was going on. They were trying to bring him into the loop. So Norman told Ray, like, hey, so I'm going to put a decoy one here and tell this one where it's going to be, another decoy here, tell this one where that's going to be. But here is where the real one is. And so then, went through this, and basically they got to the point where they were talking, and it's like, well, she found out this, she found this decoy, so that means this person was lying. And then Norman's just like, I only told you about that decoy. I told the others this other place.
Different decoys.
Different decoys.
Yeah. So that's again an example of Norman being 5-10 steps ahead of everyone. Like we got decoys. And
right.
Yeah, but basically you find out that Ray's been the one feeding Mom information the whole time. Which again was kind of part of Ray's plan, which is where things got a little complicated. It's like everything's complicated.
Yeah. Especially the relationship between Ray and Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one.
That's a very complicated one.
Yeah.
But no, like I think I texted both of you. I think I texted our group chat, like when it was kind of maybe the episode before or something, where you find out, I'm like, oh, it's not any of these others. This is Ray, isn't it? Ray's the one doing it.
And I probably texted back something like,
or maybe you sent like a GIF of Ray.
Oh yeah, I think I might have. I might have sent the GIF of Ray. That's true. Being like, hey. Yeah. True. So were there any, I think we've talked about this a little bit, but were there any things that you guys didn't expect through the course of watching? You were like, oh, wasn't expecting things to go that direction, or anything like that? I have a few written down. Yeah.
So a few for sure. The most recent was, and actually this is honestly because I have binged it so quickly. I kind of forgot, and then there was a bit of a gap between season 1 and 2 when I watched it. I was kind of surprised when Norman came back, because I was like, I thought we saw him get eaten or something or die. But I was like, I can't remember, but I could have sworn we actually saw him die, which so that was a bit surprising. Also, I'm trying to remember if I was surprised about this first part. I think I was kind of surprised when what are their names? Mujiko and Sunjo.
Sonja and Mujika.
Yes, those. I was a little surprised that they were demons helping the other guys. And then I was a little surprised when we found out. And I'm still a little confused because, like, when we left them, they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to make them real tasty for others.
So basically the idea is Sonja and Mujika are two demons who helped Emma and Ray in the group and supposedly refused to eat humans due to their religion.
That part seems to be legit though, because there's reference.
That is legit. But what's confusing about it is when they eventually part ways with Emma and the group, Sonja says something along the lines of, I'm looking forward to be able to eat them, right? And basically the idea is the religion says that you can't, they're not
eat,
allowed
farm
to
grown.
Yeah, exactly. So if their humans are out in the wild and they're hunted, that's okay, right? So Sonja wants them to sort of make humans run free again so that he can hunt them and eat them. I don't think he did, but
and the hope that these humans are even smarter based off the kids that he was interacting with.
Yeah,
he hopes that their children will be smart so he can hunt them down and
it's
kind of still kind of eat one, I guess, to get the perks of eating a human. But also for the thrill of it, I guess.
Yeah, it's the religious kind of equivalent of like, it's not sporting.
Yeah.
Right. Like he wants the challenge.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, I guess it's more that I'm confused about how I should feel about that, because it's like, well, he's helping them get what they want. I guess more just curious of how that's going to progress.
Yeah.
Because
give it
like the last episode we just saw, Emma went to find them. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious to see how that interaction goes.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
But yeah.
Depending on how the show like pans out, and if they somehow if there's a scenario where they do end up making it out, getting their own society, getting like separate societies within that wilderness space.
Yeah.
And so they can have like equal societies, but then they can also do the thing where human demons will hunt humans, and but not completely take over, like turn them into cattle.
Right. Yeah. I for something I didn't expect Norman to come back when he did. When watching the manga or watching the anime, because he comes back in the manga, but not until way later.
Okay.
So there's actually a whole arc that they skipped that I thought was a really, really good arc, where Emma and the group, I think mostly just Emma and Ray, go to a place there. They think they're going to be safe, but it basically turns into, it's like a small town that basically is like a demon hunting ground. And so, but the people there like have weapons and can fight back, and the demons like get all excited. They're like, yeah, we're gonna go to this place and hunt humans. So it's like a mix between like them being on a farm and them being hunted. And so they go there and they like take down a bunch of demons, and they learn a bunch of new secrets about Minerva and all the stuff going on with how they're gonna get back to the human world. And they totally skipped all of it. And I was like, what the heck?
Do you think they're gonna revisit that at some point?
I don't think so, because it happened before they met Norman.
I mean, they could, based off how they could be separated, and the world. We still know how big the world is.
It's true.
Yeah.
But
plus,
if they don't,
like, I mean, it's not the first time that an adaptation of something like this has been done
things out of order.
Like out of order, yeah, because. Immediately what comes to my mind is The Walking Dead. I know The Walking Dead stuff, they have a lot of like the same things that happen, but it's in a very different order.
Yeah, we'll see. I would love for them to do it, but if they don't, volumes 7 through 11 of the manga. Go find it.
Okay.
Read it. It's good. Anything else that we didn't expect, or are we ready to move into some predictions?
I didn't expect Mom to come back and then to reintroduce Mom. This part, in this part of the second season, like they did.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be something
to
look forward to.
Yeah, and the understanding there is that she's being given a second chance to go find them.
Yeah. And I knew they weren't going to kill Norman. Just he's too much of he's got too much personality to him. And then when he came back as he did, I was like, oh my god, oh no, this is bad, this is really bad. And seeing all the the other kids with him that are all
Mhm.
like really messed up. Like one girl is eating a demon leg. Like,
Yeah, she's not
geez.
okay.
No,
No,
she
she's not
is
okay.
not.
She needs
No.
she needs some help.
But Norman is like their leader because apparently he sprung them from the testing facility they were
Which
at.
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
a surprise.
No,
Yeah.
no, because he's
No.
crazy smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Who we mentioned her name before. The other nurse mom that was
Sister Crone, yeah.
Sister Crone. Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on with her character. I was like, okay, she's a little weird.
She
That
was
was the big
intense.
vibe. Yeah,
She was very intense.
weird and intense at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, what role is she going to play here?
Mhm.
And I like that she did end up helping the kids. And it ended up being kind of a sad, like, it's like, oh
Yeah.
man, I feel bad for her now.
Yeah,
Like,
but she basically was trying to usurp mom
mhm,
and so
yeah,
sided with the kids, but definitely chaotic personality
yeah.
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we have just a few minutes left. Do you guys have any predictions for sort of what's going to happen next? I don't think I
No.
should say because I've already
Yeah.
read.
I mean,
I've already read the book.
I have an idea of what they told her and when they whispered what kind of deal they made with mom. I have a kind of somewhat of an idea. Again, I don't think I feel like they're going to lose some people, but it's hard to tell because they've come so close to losing people already, but they haven't lost anyone. We haven't lost anyone yet. But I just have this feeling that someone or someone's going to die.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of expect in the next episode to see mom catch up with Emma and kind of have a face off or something, or maybe just dialogue. I don't know exactly how I expect that to play out, but I expect that to happen, and maybe then have an interaction with, I'm so sorry, Mujinko and
Yuchika and Sonja.
I'm so bad at their names. I apologize.
Okay.
They're great characters. They're great characters too. I'm glad
they are.
They have some older kids, as part of that, elder group that is kind of over the rest of the kids.
I also kind of expect down the line for there to be, because it's kind of there right now, but I expect there to be a more, I don't know, a more clear, like, rivalry, I guess, between Norman and Emma, at least, if not the rest of the family and Norman and his group. Yeah, because they seem to have very different ideals.
Yeah, I wonder if Norman will kind of turn his back on his new friends and side with Emma again.
Yeah, let's see. How's he gonna play both sides here?
I feel like it could happen. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anna, you're not allowed to talk since you know everything.
I don't know. Hey, I only recently read volume 17 of the manga, and there's apparently going to be at least 20, so I don't know everything.
Don't believe you.
Okay.
No, I'm curious to see how it plays out in terms of Norman's loyalties.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it like that. Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. But I think that's it for today. Next time, Hayden, do you know what next time is? It's your topic.
No. Is it a music one? Is it composers?
It's composers. Next time we're gonna talk about composers.
I love composers.
I hope that you give us some prep questions because I don't know much about composers.
I don't have time to prep anything. I'll do it like 5 minutes before we start, maybe.
Nah. Okay, so expect a very chaotic episode next week.
It's gonna be a great episode. Yeah.
Again, we highly recommend you go watch The Promised Neverland or read it. It's super good, super fun, and stressful.
Yes.
Yeah. But until next time, nerd out.
Nerd out.
Nerd out.